Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be taking you around and giving you a little update on some of my plants. I do have a lot of plants that are doing fabulously, but I do have some that are not doing the best, or more accurately, I've made some unhappy discoveries on this week, two of which I'm extremely unhappy about. We'll get to that in a bit, but I think I want to start by showing you guys all of the import plants that I've received so far this year and giving you an update on how those are doing. And just a quick heads up, Aroid Asia did notify me that they were going to send me some more plants, so I will be getting a few additional imports later this month. But let's just go ahead, and I am just going to take you around to see where the plants are in place today, because I just didn't feel like sitting in my office filming today. All right, you guys, so up first we have the variegated Syngonium white butterfly that I received from Green Spaces ID, and I will flash up on screen for you exactly when it was that I received the imports that we're going to be taking a look at. Now, I did remove a few leaves off this plant the other day. They just had some kind of weird brown spots on them when I originally received the plant, and it had kind of spread and it just looked bad, and it was the oldest leaves. So I just trimmed that off, and then this one had like just a little bit on one of the lobes, and I was kind of just made the decision I'm just going to take that lobe off of there. But it has put out some new leaves, and as you can see, nicely variegated here. This one is a little bit too much in the light, but yeah, kind of almost a half moonish type situation there. And then on this older leaf, you can see it was a little bit more splotchy. I actually think it's easier to see the variegation in this lighting than it was in the unboxing video, but the plant is doing fabulously. It is spreading a lot of roots around in this pot. So all in all, doing good, fully recovered, super happy about that. And this one is going to be a little bit hard to see in this lighting, so I might move us to some other lighting, but I just wanted you to see where it's been living. So this is the Hoya latifolia round form albo marginata that I got from Green Spaces ID at the same time as the last plant we looked at. So it has been living here in my southeast facing window in my kitchen, which, by the way, the plant we just looked at is right across from here. So east facing door, southeast facing window. This plant's getting a little bit of light from both. But this plant has absolutely been loving all of the light in this window and has really taken off. Let me move us to a little bit better light so you can see better. All right, that is much better. All right, we've gotten a lot of new growth on this plant. Those three leaves right there are all brand new. It has popped off two separate vines. There's another one back there in the back. And it is definitely rooting around super nicely in here. Actually might need to water it today, but definitely doing fabulously. Definitely still loving it, even though it is a larger leafed Hoya, which is saying something for me. But it's just so beautiful in the variegation, you guys, and the pinkish on the petioles. Like, I'm absolutely loving it. And we'll just see how it goes as it gets longer. I'm just concerned with the leaf size that if I let it trail, which is what I want it to do, that it's going to be too much weight. But we will just see what happens. Say hi, Theo. You going to help us today, Theo? People haven't seen you in a while, and some people may have never seen you. So if people have never seen you, this is my cat Theo. He is one of my 3 cats, and we might get to see the other 2 today as well. All right, don't mess with it, Theo. Don't mess with it. You can rub on it, but don't chew on it. Okay, guys, I almost forgot about this one, which was also on the cart where the white butterfly, variegated white butterfly was. This is the Hoya Polynera, just plain regular green Polynera that I got from Aroid Asia earlier this year. This one has popped off a new vine. It was just one tiny baby vine when I got it, and it had a weird styrofoamy thing around the roots, so there were not a lot of roots around it, but it has started to spread its roots around in this pot and is doing pretty well. Now, I'm not sure if I ever informed you guys, but around the same time that I got this, I also got a larger Polynera all green one from Peta's Planters. So my plan is to eventually add this one into the Peta's Planters one, but let me show you that one. And I don't know what Theo is doing right now. He must have found a bug, a fallen leaf, something. He's being goofy. But here is the all green Polynera that I got from Peta's Planters. This thing is growing like mad, you guys. I think I have a picture of what it looked like when I got it. I mean, it's gotten a lot longer, you guys, a lot longer. Let me get it in some better lighting. Okay, that lighting is a little bit better. All of these leaves that are kind of lighter right here, it's a whole new vine that it's just popped off. It is just growing like mad. There's more new growth up there, more new growth up there. Theo is going crazy behind me, you guys. It's gonna be one of those days. This thing's got roots galore. So super excited about this. And I know this looks pretty full, but there's room in there to add that other one in. So eventually that is the plan. Okay, so I still have some of the Anthurium that I have received over here underneath my Soltech Grove bar style grow light. Can you even see it? There it is. I love this light. This has been so great for me. Quick reminder, you can get a discount if you order Soltech lights using the link down below in my video description. You don't need a special code. Just go click on the link and it should automatically apply the discount for you. I want to say it's 15% off. But I have all of these beautiful Anthurium here. So this one over here is the Papillinum, you guys know I can't say it, right? Pap by Crystallinum by Dark Phoenix, and I am just absolutely loving this one. Now, I do have two of these, and just a reminder, this one I put into my epiphyte mix, and the other one I put into my forest floor mix because I wanted to see how they did by comparison. This one has spread a ton of roots. It has put out some new leaves. This one's still hardening off here, but absolutely loving this one. It's been doing fabulously. Now, the other one has been doing well too, hasn't rooted quite as quickly, but I think that has to do with the fact that my forest floor mix stays more moist, so it doesn't necessarily need to spread its roots as quickly, if that makes sense, because it's not searching for moisture. But we'll look at that one in a bit. It's in another room. But moving on to here, we have this a lovely Ace of Spades. This was from Green Spaces ID. This is the first new leaf that it has put out, and it's not fully hardened off yet, but it is going to be a big one. You guys, it's going to be so much bigger than the previous leaves. As you can see, we're a lot smaller, but this plant is doing fabulous. It is in my forest floor mix. Its roots have been spreading around pretty nicely as well. Now remember, I haven't had these as long as the ones from Aroid Asia. Did I say this was from Aroid Asia? If I didn't, this was from Aroid Asia. I haven't had this as long, so the roots haven't had a chance to spread as much, but that root right there looks super healthy, and that new leaf is going to be gorgeous. So super happy with how this one is going. Now I did get this in that same Green Spaces ID order. This is the Anthurium Silver Blush White Mint Variegated. This is the newest leaf it's put out, which once again, huge size up from the previous smaller leaves. This is also in my forest floor mix, but I'm still not seeing the variegation. Is it just me? I'm not getting it. Not seeing the variegation. Looks more like just a standard silver blush to me, but still a beautiful plant. Now, as far as the roots in this one go, hopefully you can see them down in there. They're spreading around nicely as well. This one's been watered more recently than the King of Spades. So it's a little bit harder when it's been watered to see the roots, but it is doing well as well. Because I do already have a silver blush, you guys, and this one is not presenting variegation, I don't think I'm gonna keep both because I don't really need two. But I just keep hoping, like maybe the next leaf will show a little variegation. We'll see. I'm gonna hang on to it for a bit. And I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. All right, so next up, I did want to just show you the other Pap by Crystallinum by Dark Phoenix that is in my forest floor mix. So as you can see, still doing great. That is the newest leaf that it is put out. It is spreading roots. Hopefully you can see them in there. Actually, that's a big root that it's spread in the last week. So it's starting to spread them around a little bit more. But as you can see, there's not quite as many in there as in the one that is in my forest floor mix. Now, this has just been living in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. So also just relying on grow lights. Theoretically, it's getting a little bit more humidity in the cabinet, but not much, than the one in the kitchen. And honestly, the one in the kitchen has given me a couple more new leaves than this one has. This one has lost a few of its older leaves as well. That is the only original leaf that is still left there. But it just recently gave me this new leaf, and it looks like it's getting ready to push another one. Actually, it looks like it has gone to caterpillar. So that's exciting. So it looks like we will be getting some more growth going on this one soon. Okay, up next, let's look at some of the other Hoyas that I got in the Aroid Asia order earlier this year. So this is the Hoya cumingiana albo marginata. As you can see, it has been putting out new growth. Now, as I mentioned in last week's video, I did acquire another one of these from Texas Plant Connection, and eventually I'm going to pot them up together because I have just discovered from talking to people and seeing more of these plants that they don't vine out, as in produce additional vines off of one vine as easily or as quickly as a lot of other Hoyas do. So if I want a more full one, I need to get to propagating and potting back in or combine multiple plants. And I decided to start by combining multiple plants, but this one's doing great. I did just water it yesterday, but hopefully you can see we have roots spreading around in there. Now, this one was the one that I was probably most excited about in that order. This is a Mamasa, Hoya Mamasa. Nice, cute little tiny leafed Hoya. It is now starting to put out a bunch of new growth. That is a new vine that is sprouted off there. So definitely fully recovered. It's doing fabulously. We did lose a lot of leaves and some full vines in the rehab process because, just as a reminder, these went a little bit south shortly after rehydrating the roots. I'm not 100% certain why, but I was able to get them fully recovered. And as you can see here, we do have nice roots spreading around in here as well. So super happy about that. And then I think we have one more Hoya from that order that we need to look at. But these have been, just so you know, living in this east-facing window, not east, west-facing window in my kitchen, and they've been absolutely loving it. And then over here we have my little pot o' Hoya that I put together back in January, and I did end up adding this Boise. I'm not sure how to correctly pronounce it, you guys, but this is the other Hoya that I got in that Aroid Asia order. Now, this one had not been growing until this week. Hopefully you guys can see we got new little leaves and a new vine popping off right there. And I know these leaves are really tiny, but hopefully you can see they have kind of a reddish or maroonish tint to them. So really happy about that. Oh, I just see we have two new leaves over on that bare vine too. That's cool. So it is finally growing, and I think it was just waiting on spreading its roots because, let me switch hands here. I did finally notice that I'm seeing roots spreading around in the pot, which I had not been seeing before. Hopefully you can see that down at the bottom there. Did water this one yesterday, so of course it's going to be a little bit difficult to see, but there are now roots spreading, and I really think that's why I hadn't seen a lot of growth yet, but now it is starting to kick off new growth. So I'm super excited about that. And while we're over here, you guys, the Hoya NAP 016 is blooming again. Absolutely love the color of these blooms, that deep red color, and the fact that it smells like caramel. And speaking of blooms, the Hoya linearis is still blooming, you guys. Look at that gorgeous bloom that just opened up right there. Love the way this one smells too, although it's a little bit of a harsher smell. I think it kind of, it reminds me of the smell of my Hoya croniana, so almost kind of, I don't know, maybe honeysuckle-ish, but this one's got like a harsher tinge to it. I don't know how, I'm not good at explaining sense. It's almost like when a perfume's a little bit harsh, almost chemically, if that makes sense. Like, that's kind of the difference between this and the croniana, in my opinion. But we do have another one getting ready to open back up down here as well. All right, you guys, I think that leaves one more import plant. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but I think this is the last import plant, and this will start our bad things and bad discoveries portion of the video because, oh, you guys, I'm so not happy. All right, so this is the Monstera White Tiger, so Monstera albo White Tiger that I got from Green Spaces ID. And yesterday, you guys, I had to cut off two of the oldest leaves, and so now I feel like it looks a little bit bald down here. But in addition to that, hopefully you can see, I had to cut off some of the other parts of the leaves, and I'm going to tell you why, but I want to let you know up front, I am working on a full video on what happened here because you guys need a full separate video for this. But apparently this plant was shipped to me with rust. So if you don't know what rust is, it is a fungal situation that happens on plants. I have mentioned rust in my video I did about how to assess leaf issues that you're seeing on your plants. However, I personally have never had to deal with rust until now. And you guys, I'm so not happy about it. And it spreads easily. It is not the easiest thing to get rid of. So the worst leaves I had to remove, and then the bad parts on the other leaves, I removed those parts. And then I'm going through a whole treatment process on this, which once again, I will make a completely separate video for you guys on that because it needs to be its own separate video for you guys to easily reference if this ever happens to you. But I have gotten several new leaves since I got this plant. I did end up putting it into leca because my Monstera albos have been loving leca. So it's been happy in that. This is the newest leaf that it just put out. And look, it's got a finny up here. So excited about that. Now this older leaf also had one already when I received the plant, but it was the only one. So I'm super excited about that. This was another new leaf that came out, and unfortunately I had to cut, as you can see, part of it off. Now just so you know, the brown that you're seeing right there is not rust related. That was just some cosmetic damage from something else when I received the plant. But just so not happy, you guys. And really everything I was reading was telling me I should just completely cut these leaves off, but I didn't want to because I would have had to remove all the lower leaves. It would have been totally like bald down here. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So at some point I may still have to do that, but right now I'm just working on the treatment process, videoing it for you, all that good fun stuff, but really loving how this plant is looking. It has been living next to that southeast facing window in my kitchen over by where the Hoya latifolia albo marginata was that we looked at. Oh, this was just like my first unhappy discovery. Unfortunately, it is not the only unhappy Monstera discovery I made this week, so let's move on to some of the non-import plant updates I want to give you. Well, you guys, I was going to give you an update on another Monstera, and I think I made another unhappy discovery on my way over there because the light, when I stepped this way, was hitting this leaf on my El Choco Red, and I swear to God, I think it has spider mites. It does. I don't know if you guys can see it. There is speckling. Oh my goodness. Yes, there's webbing in the middle there. Oh, no, you guys, I'm so not happy. And I had a leaf snap off this week on this one. This might turn into like an emergency plant care video because now I need to go spray this thing down. I did order some beneficial bugs yesterday because the unhappy discovery I was about to tell you was that my big, beautiful green Monstera that has never had a pest issue in the entire time that I've had it has spider mites too. And I don't even know how to begin to deal with spraying this one down because I can't fit it into my shower, into my bathroom really. Trying to get it through doorways isn't happening. So I ordered some beneficial bugs and I thought it was restricted to this plant. I checked the Setosa, I checked the Wilbur Graves, and I haven't seen webbing. I only found one spider mite. But I'm just nervous, right? Where there's one, there's probably more. But what the heck, you guys? That's like a lot on there. I'm gonna go get my microscope. All right, you guys, microscope confirmed. There are spider mites. We are going to take it into the shower real quick. We're gonna give it a massive shower down, and then we're gonna treat it because, I can't even. This might account for why this leaf also came in a little bit janky. All right, here we go. Spray down first, which is leaning all funky. All right, you guys, I got it rinsed off. I am going to remove the stuck leaf and remove a lot of this dead sheathing here because the spider mites could be hiding in that. And then I still actually have probably about a week until the beneficial bugs are gonna get here. So I'm trying to decide if I'm just gonna go ahead and maybe spray this down with a pest spray. I don't have everything right now in stock either to do my DIY pest spray. It's not coming until Monday. I ordered the replacement stuff I needed. But I do have some not old, but I do have some insecticidal soap on hand. So I might just spray this down and do a little bit manual brushing, which I will show you guys, which can help to remove like eggs and things like that just in the interim, and then give this another good wash down right before the beneficial bugs come so that I can get that off of there so it won't kill the beneficials. But oh, this is making me so unhappy, you guys. All right, let me get to work. Oh my goodness, you guys. So not happy about these discoveries. I'm gonna have to take this off for a second so that I can get to some of this dead sheathing, which I was just thinking about needing to remove the other day. Should have done it a long time ago. This is why we don't put off these kind of chores. And let me tell you, one of the things that's making me so upset about this and the green Monstera and discovering spider mites on them is that I have never had plants that far away from the windows and the doors get spider mites before. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. I know it's probably one of the cats probably drug them from somewhere to the Monstera, or maybe I did. Like I've said before, I do have a video all about how pests end up in your home. I will link it down below for you guys, but they can catch a ride on you. You brush against a plant and they end up on that plant. And that might be what happened in this situation, because I did just do a little bit of a microscope check on the plants right by the door in the kitchen, and I wasn't seeing any signs of spider mites on them, because that was kind of my first thought when I saw that this plant had spider mites, was that maybe some of those plants had them and the spider mites have just made their way across the kitchen. But that doesn't seem to be the case, which is even odder. So I really think they just got carried. They basically hitched a ride. Man, and I hate putting this back on here because bugs can stay on this. This is kind of the downside to the plant Velcro. Man, this thing is still, I tried to reset this pole recently too, you guys, and I don't think I did that good of a job. It's still kind of leaning, but oh well. But anyways, this fabric-y Velcro tape, like bugs can stay alive on that and underneath it get stuck in there and everything. The actual plasticky type tape that you have to tie off is actually better from a pest standpoint than the Velcro. It doesn't look as nice in my opinion because you have the tied off, knotted end, but it's not going to be as easy for the bugs to harbor because they can get in these little fiber areas on here. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, twine kind of has a similar problem because mites are small enough that they can get in between the threads, individual threads on twine, and hide out. So just things to keep in mind. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. This leaf is so like stuck in there. There is a nice new growth point going on back there though. Normally, since this hadn't died off yet up here, I wouldn't necessarily remove it. Hi, Scooter. Scooter's trying to help us, but because of what we're dealing with, I'm going to get that part off, Scooter. Scooter, you don't need to help. You might be the one who spread them. Well, not to this plant. You're not tall enough. Say hi, everybody. Okay, that part is off. Try and get these other parts off down here. Sorry if I'm going slightly off camera. Scooter is like scratching at the rug behind me. Okay. Oh, and you guys know how much I love this plant. This is just so upsetting. This is the first pest problem I've ever had on this plant. I've had this plant for years. Scooter, what are you doing? What are you doing back there? I'm having a little hard time getting to this one, but I don't really want to unvelcro it again. I think I'm going to have to. Look at that nice root right there. All right, and then I think I'm going to give it one more rinse off now that I've removed this, so anything that was hiding under there hopefully gets washed off of it. And then I'm going to let it dry for a bit before I apply any kind of spray because I don't want it to like mix with the water and not be as potent. All right, I think that is basically as good as I am going to get it. Get it reattached here. Oh, and I had coffee right before this, so I'm like extra shaky. Okay, don't fall over. All right, we're just gonna let that dry and we're gonna move on to the other Planty updates. Well, actually, we're going to rinse it off first, then we're gonna move on to the other Planty updates. Apparently, Scooter's gonna keep an eye on the plant for us while we go check out the other plants. And in case anyone was wondering how George is doing, George is being his saint of a self as usual and doing what he does most days, which is sleep in mom's bed. All right, you guys, so back to my giant Monstera. So what first clued me in was that some of the leaves were looking kind of like this. So hopefully you can see there's a little bit of speckling on them. Now, you guys, I've noticed this on some of the leaves for a few months now, but I have not seen any webbing. And when I first started seeing it, I started checking all the time with my microscope thoroughly on the leaves where I was seeing it, and I did not see any signs of spider mites whatsoever, or flat mites, because I was worried because I wasn't seeing webbing. Maybe there were flat mites. I saw nothing until yesterday when I had 2 leaves die off, and they were slightly newer leaves, which is concerning. I went and I checked, and sure enough, I saw 1 spider mite and what looked like some eggs. So there are definitely spider mites on this plant. But the good news is it's not a bad infestation. I was starting to see webbing on the El Choco when I made that discovery just now. I have not seen webbing on here. We are a little bit dusty. It has been about 3 weeks since I dusted this plant. So also I might just have been wiping them off when I was dusting this plant. That's possible. But good news is it's not like a horrible infestation. Like what you're seeing right now mostly on this plant is just dust. And I've been hesitant to go dusting them and then potentially spreading spider mites other places now that I know there are spider mites on there. So I kind of want to get the beneficial bugs first and then go from there. But you can even see like this leaf is not looking so hot and it's a newer leaf. So I don't know what's going on, but also I need to repot this plant. I know I do. So that could be part of that too, but considering I rarely lose leaves on this plant, when I saw 2 that I had to remove yesterday, I was like, all right, let me more thoroughly check for pests. And sure enough, and I think I removed the leaf, it was an older leaf down here somewhere, and I removed it, was the one I saw the actual spider mite on. And man, they're moving fast these days, you guys. Like it took me like 5 minutes to find one on the El Choco Red with the microscope. Even though I could clearly see there were spider mites, like I was moving that microscope all over the leaf and I'm like, where are they? And then finally I caught one and it was like just pew, zoom right out from under the microscope. And I'm like, I don't remember them moving that freaking fast. I will say that is a nice thing about flat mites. They tend not to move. They seem to be more lazy. So they're a little bit easier to catch, but really I've never had that big of a deal finding spider mites on plants when I see signs. So it's been a little bit weird lately, but good news is there is a new leaf coming in back there, and that is on one of the vines where I had to remove leaves from yesterday. So I don't know, you guys, with big plants like this, it's just so much more difficult because like I said, I can't get this in my shower to spray it down. I'm not going to spray it down here in my living room and make a mess. And you know, the cats wander through here and stuff. That's just not going to work. So in instances like this, beneficial bugs are the best way to go. And thankfully I had the foresight to buy 200 sachets, which is way more than I need. But I just figured if I've seen it on one plant, they're on more than one plant and I just don't know it yet. So everybody's going to be getting some sachets. My big plants are going to be getting more than one. And I'll get it back under control. But man, mites are just the bane of my existence, you guys. I just can't even. All right, let's move on. All right, so we're in my office now. While we're on the topic of spider mites, telling you guys, I did discover on one of my favorite Anthurium that has not been looking too great, spider mites, at least one on that leaf right there. So I need to give this one another spray down, but I'm kind of thinking I might just give it a rinse down and wait for the beneficials at this point but it is also finally putting out a beautiful new leaf. Look at that new emergent. I love the emergence on this Anthurium, and it hasn't given me a new leaf in a long time, and now I'm suspecting maybe it's because there were bugs. So I'm not happy. These leaves are going to end up going bye-bye. I did check my poor Anthurium silver blush down here, which is killing off some of its older leaves. Checked for spider mites, did not see signs, but it will be getting some beneficials as well. New leaf is not even fully hardened off down here. It is killing off some of its older leaves though. That might just be normal leaf kill off. It's been a long time since I've lost leaves on this one, but because this one had a spider mite, I am now nervous about all of the ones over here, although I feel like they're more likely to avoid this Anthurium, the Rad Lux, because of the thickness of the leaves, but I am starting to lose some leaves over here as well, but it has put out a bunch of new ones too, so I don't even know, you guys. And then the newest leaf on the Red Crystal Lux here, which I looked for spider mites on this one, did not see them, but once again, a thicker, leatherier, is that even a word, leaf, so they are probably more likely to go for the thinner leafed ones. But this new leaf came in totally torn up, but other than that, it looks pretty good. It's massive, you guys, but still struggling with this nonsense on this plant, which I will also address in a separate video because I think I might know what is going on with that, and I'm going to try to resolve the issue. Okay, so I'm actually surprised none of you have commented or noticed what's going on with my Thaumatophyllum bipennitifidum in any of the recent videos, because you could, if you looked closely, see that a lot of the leaves are not looking great on this plant, and by not looking great, I mean they're starting to get all kinds of yellow and funky looking. Now, once again, I looked to see if I saw pests on this plant. I did not. This is not really presenting like pest damage. It's presenting a little bit more like maybe a nutrient deficiency. So I have upped my fertilization game on this, but I did make the decision last week to remove about 8 leaves that look like crap. And they looked worse than this, mind you, on this plant. And it has started to pump out a ton of new growth. So I kind of think this plant is just going through a phase, kind of like I've talked about my Calathea do, where sometimes they just kill off a bunch of leaves in order to push out a bunch of new leaves. And I kind of feel like that's what's happening. Now, I did take the opportunity to kind of re-secure the leaves to the supports here in a more upright position. So I think that's going to help it get better lighting, which also could have been part of the problem. But as you guys can see, these leaves are just, they're not looking good. This one's like curled in on itself and turning yellow, and it's just not cool. But here's a relatively new one. Sorry, the camera got a little bit off track there. A relatively new one up here that is still nice and green. However, I do see a little bit yellowing up on the top. So hopefully between removing the ones that are dying off, fertilizing more, these new leaves coming in, it will start to look good again. Also though, it may need a repot. It may need a repot. It's been a few years. Here's a new leaf coming in that has not even fully hardened off. So I will get it back to looking better. It's just going through a phase right now. And also, look, I'm getting a lot of baby leaves coming in, which is so weird. I think it's actually sprouted off another growth point down here. Let me see if I can get a closer look around the other side. Okay, so it has. Hopefully you can see those 2 thin green petioles down there. That's an entirely new growth point that it has shot off. That's why we got baby leaves over there. So it is actively growing. I think it's just going through a phase. But you guys, all of these aerial roots, some of these have grown back down into the soil. So that's why I'm saying I think it might also need a repot. So we'll have to see about that soon. I'll probably do this one and the green monstera at the same time because they're both going to be an equal pain in the butt. And they both need to go up a pot size. So if I'm going to have to mix up that much soil anyway, we might as well do them both at once. But definitely want to get the spider mite situation on the Monstera resolved first. Okay, so another quick update in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet here. One of my favorite Anthurium here. Oh man, you guys, this is my Pink Lemonade by Bessier AFF by Carla Blackier, which is now down to 1 leaf. That is not looking so great. I had showed you guys this plant in a video a while back and said it just wasn't doing very well. I hadn't gotten any new leaves on it. I see some black specks up at the top of that leaf. You better not have bugs too. I'm paranoid now, you guys. I'm doing the smear test. Not seeing anything. Oh, okay. Hopefully we're okay. Hopefully we're in the clear. Why does this plant look like it has spider mite speckles on it? Oh, hold on, you guys. Well, you guys, got the microscope out. At some point, this plant had either flat mites or spider mites. I'm seeing carcasses. So that means that the last round of beneficial bugs I released, which was probably, I'll have to check and throw it up on screen. I think it was back in the spring. Must have taken care of those, but there's also a weird, like, dead looking, kind of mite looking thing that looks like nothing I've seen before. I'm just hoping there aren't active bugs on here. Like, I couldn't find any, but oh man, you guys, I've never, knock on wood, had a problem with pests in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. I kind of want to check every plant now. I might do that real quick, you guys. Sorry this is turning into a not what was planned video, but real life, people. Real life. Okay, you guys, I definitely have a problem in this cabinet. But what is absolutely crazy... Oh my god. Are you guys seeing all the speckles of stuff down here? Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that in a second, but what is crazy is, okay, this is a new leaf. This is not even hardened off. I just found the carcass of a spider mite on here, which is telling me that somehow my beneficials, or at least some of them, must still be alive in this cabinet after all that time. Either that or some spider is living in here that I can't see and is taking care of business. So, I mean, that's good, but also concerning that somehow spider mites made their way into here, which, I mean, a cabinet's not pest proof, you guys, but this one's really far away from any windows. But now I'm questioning if every plant in here doesn't have bugs. Oh, I can't with this, you guys. This is so stressful, but I do need to clean in here, clearly. But now I'm curious what all I'm seeing down here that is very speckly. Let me check. Okay, so good news is this just seems to be dust. I need to clean out in here, but I'm hesitant to do massive cleaning if there is obviously something beneficial in here that is eating bugs. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until the new beneficial bugs come, and then I'm going to take everybody out of here and do a thorough clean out of the shelves, because I mean, it needs it, you guys. It's been over a year. So it's just a pain because of the lights, and just trust me, it's a pain. So I'm going to do that when the beneficials get here, and then we'll have a nice clean cabinet. We'll drop the new beneficials in, and hopefully they last as long as apparently these last ones did. But back to this plant. So it wasn't doing well. It wasn't giving me new leaves. And finally, I decided to switch it to leca. The roots were good. There was like a tiny bit of rot on one that I trimmed off, but nothing bad. So it wasn't that. So it has been in leca for a few weeks now. But what I think happened, you guys, is somehow when it wasn't in leca, where the new growth point would have been coming from, like, it died in the sheath. Hopefully you can see how like dark that is. And I think it just halted growth because it almost like rotted this part of it. And so right now what I'm waiting for is for this new growth point, which hopefully you can see there's a little green growth point down there. I'm waiting for that to kind of kick off, because that's what's going to have to happen, because this is like no bueno. That is no good. So this plant should make a full recovery. I mean, the roots look pristine. They're great. So we just got to get it growing again. And as you can see, this is staying nice and dry, even though the leca is damp from the water reservoir. I think this is going to help it heal. And so now we just got to wait for the new growth to kick off, and then this should make a full recovery. I'm just so not happy about the bug situation right now, you guys, at all. Well, you guys, I think that is all of the updates that I'm going to give you today. The only plants we didn't really look at that I have updates on are my calathea, but I kind of want to do a completely separate video for that for you guys, because I did do a video for you a few months ago about understanding that when calathea are killing off leaves, sometimes it doesn't mean anything's wrong with the plant, it's just what it's doing. And I shared some of my calathea that were going through that in that video, and so I want to give you guys an update on how they're looking now that they've gone through that phase. But I think it makes more sense to make that just a separate calathea catch-up video for you guys. Plus, I am just so stressed out right now with the bug discovery, and oh my god, I'm just so not happy. The plant, the El Choco Red, is still in the shower. It's not dry enough for me to spray yet, but like I said, I'm just gonna spray it down. I have a little like chip brush, paint brush that I am going to use to kind of make sure that the spray has coated the leaves completely, and it will also help to kind of brush off anything that's on the leaves. And then, like I said, when the beneficial bugs arrive next week, I'm gonna give it another thorough clean down to get that off so it's not gonna kill the beneficials before I apply them. But I feel like every fall I make not fun pest discovery, you guys. It's so frustrating. Last year it was the flat mites. This year it's the spider mites. I can't even. All right. Like I said, my apologies that this video took a little bit of a turn, but this is what happens when you own plants. But hopefully you've still found this video helpful. At least maybe it's made you feel better about a similar situation you're going through. If so, please be sure to click that like and or subscribe button down below. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Aloha!